before we start, Buzz sent me this package and these books right here. He sent me this. I don't know if you guys seen this before.
Where to find it in the Bible? Nope.
So it covers like things such as like you want to talk about generosity, Gentile, gentleness. It goes from A to B: evolution, exaggeration, exalted, courtesy, covet, courtship, court, all kinds of stuff. Like if you have questions about certain particular topics, it points you to where it is in the Bible. Now, the good thing about, I mean, one thing that I do say about this is that it's important to read the full context because a lot of people like to cherry pick things and completely misunderstand. So, uh, so that then he sent me this one, then he sent me this one.
Okay.
So this one is kind of similar to what I just had shown you, but this goes real into detail when you're studying from A to Z, and it talks about, of course, it points you into like this one, the K for like no. So I'm still trying to figure out how to properly use this. Then for Kai and Noah, this one.
Yeah, the Action Bible. I've seen those. Those things are pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I realized I was muted, but yes, I have the concordance as well.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're good tools to use, but it's just like I said earlier, it's better to make sure you have full context of it because you can completely misunderstand what it's talking about. But yeah, those are the three that I got. You can't really find those here. He actually found these in Goodwill.
Really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, he has a mountain of books. So he decided to send me some of these because he had doubles.
That's cool.
Yeah. But what's going on?
Not really a whole lot, honestly. At least not right now.
Really? Oh, I thought you were gonna share like what's going on with Gnome Tree and
I mean, I can, dude. So
well,
okay,
actually, Carl, I don't know if Carl. I don't think I ever told you, but Russell has his own distillery business.
Oh, okay.
So I make hard alcohol, and I've done it since like 2014, 2013, something like that. And then it started out personal consumption. And then I started realizing I wanted to run the still and make the alcohol more than I wanted to drink. And then I got to the point where I was getting too well known. So I had to start going through the process of becoming a legitimate business because your first offense for making moonshine is 5 years in prison for tax evasion. That's what they get you for. They don't get you for making alcohol. Yeah, they get you for tax evasion. They want their money more than anything. They don't care what you're doing. They just want their money. So I started going through that, and then COVID happened, and that kind of put a damper on everything. And now I'm getting back into like revamping and like really getting it going. And there is like the amount of push that I'm doing right now and the amount of work that God's allowing to happen. I could be doing that full time by the end of this year, if not sooner than that. And my ultimate goal is doing that full time to get out of being an employee and being my own boss, being able to help other entrepreneurs grow and help them succeed not only in life but in their spiritual walks as well. And that's ultimately like what the business is about. I don't care if I make a ton of money out of the distillery or not. It's more about bringing people to know God, and having the right work environment for people to really feel comfortable talking about their problems and their issues and things that they have going on, their own demons. And then there will be, once the distillery is like fully up and running and has taken off, I'm going to be starting a company called Gnome Tree Outreach. And that is basically going to be, the whole emphasis behind that is that God's grace created this place. And that's going to be local business owners and stuff like that really providing their time to help people that are in situations that don't know how to go about starting their own company or what the first steps look like. And I want to have that platform of people that I can be like, oh, you want to start like your own marketing business? Well, you know what? I have somebody that already did that. Here, let me put you in contact with them. Or they're right there in their office. Why don't you just go talk to them? But yeah, it's been a huge push this year. And I've met the right people that have helped me kind of spark the interest, or not the interest, light the fire back in me to make the distillery a push. And I've sat down with both of them numerous times now, and actually numerous times. We've sat down once each with each person to talk about the program that they offer, which is basically the program that I want to help start eventually. They offer training classes and stuff like that I can do all online. And then Josh, he is actually a web design and marketing person. And so he has like all these other ideas, but he also was like helping me think of how can I start making money now with the distillery while I'm still waiting on paperwork. And so I've been kind of looking at different ideas and different routes to be able to get my product on the shelf now through using another distillery that'll basically like rent my product. They'll sell my product under my name and everything, but I'll use their paperwork, and they'll get like a certain percentage of what I sell. They get basically a cut off of that. So it's been super cool. I've made a lot of contacts with people that I didn't expect to make. My birthday weekend a couple of weeks ago, I ended up chatting. I was doing a whiskey tasting, and I just started talking to the lady that was there, and I was like giving her my knowledge while I was doing the tasting. And she's like, you need to come back when my husband's here. And I'm like, why? And she's like, well, we're the owners of this place, and we're looking in like maybe 3 to 5 years retiring and selling it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I ended up coming back, and I had a full conversation with her husband, and him and I just like, we hit it off. He's invited me to come down and stay at their house and work in the distillery to kind of get the exposure and understanding of what it takes to really make it a legitimate business. And he's like, but you need this and this in order to do that. And I'm like, okay. So I've already done one of the 2 classes, and I've got I can legally go into an establishment, make cocktails, 4 glasses of wine, and do stuff like right from the tap, fill a beer from the tap, which was like one of the things. He's like, you need this, and then I can't remember the other one. It's like a cocktail mixology training class that I have to take. And so yeah, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go spend like 4 or 5 days down. And I'm like, I'll get a hotel. And he's like, nope, you're going to stay at our house. You're going to have dinner with the family. Like, you're going to like just have the full experience if you're here. And so I was like, okay, then.
Well, Um, from my time knowing you and then seeing everything that you have, my prayer for you is that everything aligns with God's will for you, um, and and things don't happen too quickly, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yep.
So you won't become overwhelmed, or just to remain grounded and appreciative and thankful, and always remembering how things started. And then, of course, you know, there was always the ongoing debate when I was younger about alcohol, and alcohol is bad. God hates alcohol, and I'm like, no, it's not the alcohol. It's the abuse of it is what the problem
Yep.
is. Uh, God has no problem with someone just having a drink. I mean, and the Bible talks about. I mean, the cleanest form of drinking was wine,
Mhm.
because the water quality at that time was horrible.
Yeah.
So, and then Jesus clearly turned those jars into wine. He didn't say turn this into grape juice. No.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just pray that things. I mean, it's cool to see like what's going on,
Yeah.
and the products and stuff that you're creating and developing. And I just pray that God will take this and obviously bless you along the way, and then in hopes of blessing others, and that they see God through your business.
Hmm. Thank you. I
So
appreciate it. And just a
always.
real thing, because I know he's going to watch this. Ryan, we literally just had this whole discussion about drinking and not getting drunk. My barber, he actually watches our podcast and listens to it. And him and I just had a discussion while getting my haircut about drinking and all of that. And so it was cool that you like brought it up. So
Yeah. A lot of people misunderstand, and I understand where they kind of get a little lost because they see the actions of people that drink alcohol when they abuse it. But
Yep.
the Bible nowhere says like anything can become an idol or a sin if it's used incorrectly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so alcohol should not be like, oh my gosh, you had a sip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did. And
it was
yeah, I
delicious. I'm about
definitely
to have.
agree. The abuse factor is when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Because we were actually talking, like, I told him that I've in this like journey that I'm on, growing closer with God and stuff right now. That is something that God's actually laid on my heart, is not to overindulge when I drink, and I've actually been doing really really good on that, dude. I When we went for my birthday, I had like over a 7 or 8 hour time frame. I had like 4 drinks, 3 or 4 drinks, and so like I didn't overindulge. I didn't get drunk. And so yeah, so I'm like taking that to heart right now, and it's funny because I'm like, yeah, I make alcohol for a living, but I don't want to get drunk off my product because that's
Yep.
not what it's intended for. I want to be able to sit down around a fire and pull up a glass of whiskey with somebody and be like, hey, dude, you want to have a glass of whiskey with me? Let's talk, and
Yep.
have those
Yep.
those awesome interactions with people.
Exactly. That. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's what's going on with the distillery, man.
Okay.
Wow.
That's good. So I have nothing really to add about drinking because I think in my lifetime I only drank wine with steak, but that was only once in a blue moon when would have one with a steak.
All right, that's cool.
I remember. I remember we went to Buzz's wedding, and right, my mom, she's very. I wouldn't say. I don't want to say hardcore Christian or anything, but she's just very rooted, right? And not saying that we're not, but I think my mom takes things sometimes quite literally, or overthinks things or something. But I remember we were at, Carl and I were at our Buzz's wedding, and I had an open bar, and then um, I forgot what I had, and then Carl asked for a glass of wine, and then I like looked over at my mom's face, and my mom's face was total disapproval. So, Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I
So,
remember that because I was like, it's just one glass. I don't do any more than one glass. But
so it's just, well, I'll say my mom was very old school-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, just seeing that on her face, and I was like, wow, mom is perfectly fine. He's not sitting there slamming back, shots and then going around acting all belligerent or anything like that. It's a glass of wine to celebrate our friend's wedding, just like
Yeah.
in the Bible where they had wine to celebrate a wedding when Jesus was present.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think sometimes the emotions kind of block a lot of our judgment and understanding, and that's yeah.
yeah,
um, what about you, Carl? Anything?
yeah, nothing really. I just been like I've been sending you the text messages of whenever I create something or laser engrave something. So I've been just really focusing on that and some other things to keep my focus. I'm waiting on another piece of equipment that I ordered back in July. They said it should be shipped to me by the end of this month because I want to start an Etsy store. I did discuss this with you about trying to get some artwork done by you so I can just kind of post it. I was looking at just doing also some Christian artwork and stuff and text and just putting it on Etsy. Just it's going to be more of a hobby than a business, though.
Mm-mm. Yeah. What? Wait, you ordered back in July? Why is it taking so long?
Um, they were doing pre-orders back in July. They were expecting it to ship in November, but that kept on getting delayed.
Ah, I see. Mm-mm. Yeah, I I told not Buzz, Noah about. I remember showing Noah some of your 3D art of the Pokemon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Well, as you can see, Russell, like those are laser engravings I did. So that's just spray painted canvas, and then I put the artwork or image in there and let the laser take care of the rest of it. But
That's
that's
cool.
just a little. That's just a couple things. This is supposed to be my anime wall, but then in different rooms I have different stuff. So in my bedroom I have a couple Bible verses and um, Bible verses and Bible artwork up in my bedroom.
Okay, that's cool.
So.
you got some wall art. I got something. I spray painted this. But nothing. You guys. Oh yeah. Well, fine. Let me go get what I did.
It's like, look what I did. He took his headphones with him. You probably can hear me, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I can still hear you. It's not even lunchtime yet. Hold on. Here, Noah.
Like dinner
Go in
time,
that
dude. I don't know what
this
you're talking
top second drawer again, and I'll do it. I made this.
That's good.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
And this.
Sushi. Ah, see, look at that, dude. I didn't even tell him, but I knew it was coming. Sushi. It was amazing.
But the reason why I did this is because we're the school that I'm at. We every Thursday we have a thing called sub club, and so we every 6 weeks we choose something that we're going to do. We're going to work on, and so we're doing sushi making club.
All right.
And so I made these because on this Friday we're doing a presentation, and so the kids that I have, they're going to present the different types of sushis that they made. So I told them, since it's pretty much all they're up to them, only thing my job was just to create the display. So I have a display. This is going to be part of it, and so yeah. So this is the artwork that I still do.
Cool.
here and there. So nothing too crazy anymore. But yeah. So cool. The topic that it's kind of we'll kind of just kind of go off the wing, but I mentioned earlier that I forgot to share with you guys. It's more about stewardship versus autonomy.
Okay. Sorry, you said share
Um,
with you, but then you were like, "I'm sorry, I think I forgot to share with you guys." So it was like it made me laugh as I was taking a drink.
Do you guys know the difference between stewardship and autonomy? Biblical stewardship and then modern autonomy?
Negative.
No.
So let me give you an idea. So biblical stewardship is God the creator, the owner. Modern autonomy is the individual, meaning ourself.
Okay.
So give you some examples. In biblical stewardship, it's more of I am a manager of what is God's.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then modern autonomy is I am the owner of my life and assets, meaning
Okay.
I'm in control of my own journey.
So living for the
Uh,
flesh for God.
so biblical, I am a manager of what is God. So obviously my body is not my own. I will try to honor and glorify God in the decisions and the things that I make in my life. It's not about personal gain. But then modern autonomy is more of I make my choices. I'm about myself. I'm my own manager. There's no one else that I answer to.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why, and then for instance, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because where I currently work, they have a kind of like a model that they call it STAR, and the S means smile, the T means try, and A means autonomy, and then R is respect. So it's not bad, right? But then for some reason, when the moment he said autonomy, it struck a red flag with me for some reason. And I'm not saying that they're wrong. I understand that it's important to be respectful and to make good choices and things like that. So I completely understand that that's how we should be living our life. But I think the reason why it was a red flag is because it's more so about I'm in control of my own journey.
Okay.
I make the choices for myself, no one else. And when I kind of was doing a little bit more research about autonomy and how in modern society today, how it's like that, that's what there's a real big push about that I'm sure you guys heard about the whole speak it into existence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
If you say it enough, that means it's going to happen. And so then you start to believe that I'm in control of my own destiny. There's no one else that I answer to. So it's kind of along those lines. But then when you think about it biblically, we want to align our will with God's. Yes, we have goals. Yes, we have things that we want to achieve and stuff. But if it's not honoring and glorifying God, then there's no point.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I was confused at first when you kept on saying autonomy. I think we use a different phrase over here because I'm not. It may just because you're in Japan they use that word as autonomy.
No, it's an English word.
No, I'm just saying is how they phrase it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
It's English, guys.
Yeah, it's English. It's just that how they phrase it. To me, you're probably explaining like self-worth or self-value or something like that,
Yeah,
that you bring the value up to you, yourself. But yeah, no, that's nothing new. They just keep on rephrasing it in different ways as companies continue to develop and all that stuff. And the one person that is very famous about saying that, speak it into the existence, someone famous, Will Smith, used to say that a lot. Hey, I knew I was going to do this. I kept on saying I was going to do it, and guess what? I did it. It's like, yeah, you really didn't. I mean, let's just be honest here. You were given the gift to do it, but it wasn't really you, type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of us as society tries to teach us that we did it by our own
Yep.
merit. Well, we didn't create ourselves. We didn't create the abilities that we have. You know, there is an author and a uh like pretty much we're the clay and there's a potter behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before Dad, after Dad passed away, like his will pretty much said that too, that it wasn't him that did it. It was just kind of a gift from God that he was able to do what he did, his intelligence and all that stuff. Because during that funeral, I had no idea how smart he really was. I had no idea he had several master's degrees. You know, just talking to him, you just would have never known.
Yeah. When you said that, yeah, and then I was reading the will and I didn't realize there was a lot of stuff that Dad didn't say.
Yeah, he never was self-boastful. He just, you would talk to him and you would have no idea he was that smart. He was always down to your level when he talked to you.
Yeah.
So
Very
there's
intelligent.
different people who are like that. I mean, there's certain people who are like that who you would never know, and then there's those also who are very boastful about what their accomplishments were.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, for some reason I just remember this in the movie. You guys know the movie The Barbershop?
Yeah.
With so I remember there was a quote that Ice Cube said. He said the poorest people are the ones that appear to look rich.
Yep. So true.
So, you know, you don't become flashy or try to throw things in people's face to say, look how successful I am or anything like that. No, you humble yourself and understanding that the gifts and the everything that you have is from God.
Yeah.
So
just to kind of piggyback off that, you take a look at Adam Sandler. Like that guy never dresses flashy.
Yeah.
Like Adam, he's in basketball shorts and like baggy clothes all the time. And I don't know if you guys heard about that. Like recently, his daughter went to like a high class like purse store, and she was dressed like her dad. She was in baggy sweats and a baggy sweater. And the lady there, it was a total Pretty Woman scenario, dude. Like the lady treated her like garbage in the store. Like was like, don't touch these. These are super expensive. And she left and called her dad. And Adam Sandler went to the mall, took her into the store, and basically like politely told them it doesn't matter what you look like. So I'm going to take every single person in the store and buy it right now. And he bought out their entire store. And he told people, he's like, I'm not doing it to flash my money. I'm doing it to show this lady that it doesn't matter what you look like. Treat a person like a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was such a cool. I was like, I never really thought I'd actually get to see like a Pretty Woman scenario like actually happen if it did happen. And I was like, that's so rad.
And try not to get too off topic. With there was another incident where he was at the Grammys. I only saw a clip of it. He was dressed the way he was, and like he was giving the people crap about because they were talking about how he's dressed, and like he went to a brand that he doesn't care. He's not changing for anybody. So
yeah, it's great, man. It makes me so happy. Like he's true to himself. That's what we as Christians need to do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes we fail to understand. I mean, to remember that at times. I mean, you guys know another actor, Keanu Reeves. He's the same.
Oh man, yeah, he is.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is very down to earth, and he doesn't try to boast, and he's very, um, charitable.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's honestly, I think Hollywood is slowly starting to have an awakening, because I think a lot of actors are starting to realize how demonic it is, and realizing that the accomplishment of the things that they have are not long lasting and it doesn't bring happiness. You're seeing a lot of actors actually starting to speak out about having a relationship with Jesus is a lot more value than having material. And that they understand that the position they're in is not because of their doing,
Mm-hmm.
and God allows them to be in that position for a reason, but it was by the gifts and the grace that He has given.
Mhm.
And yeah, and so that's why whenever it's always a good reminder in prayer every day is just to pray and thank God that we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for Him.
Yeah.
And then that every day is a gift and we should be thankful for it. And then I always try to tell Kai and Noah, whenever I get upset with them, I try to have an explanation. I'm like thinking, I'm telling them, I'm saying, the home that we have, the clothes that they have, the food that they have, everything like that, would not be here if it wasn't for God. The jobs that mom and dad have is because it's the jobs that God has blessed mom and dad with.
Yeah.
So we have to be thankful and appreciative of everything that we have. And the older I become, I'm realizing that material gain is like it's not a concern to me. I've never been motivated by money.
Yeah.
And what value to me is more so about sitting here talking with you guys about the Lord and building relationship and in our walk and fellowship. And the same thing is in turn with my family, is that I want God to be the foundation of our family. It's an ongoing battle. It's a journey. Not saying that they're rejecting it, but it's just hard to find consistency. I'll say that. But that's what my main concern is. It's nothing else. It's not about having this, having that. I believe God will provide when He seems fit to provide.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm trying to chase anything. I'm not trying to chase to be like you were saying with Gnome Tree. You're not trying to chase money. Your value is to build a community, get to know people, have fellowship and discussions, and that's what it should always be about.
Mm.
Yep.
So I mentioned the source of authority, the ownership about modern and biblical. Primary goal is faithfulness to the master's will. That's biblical stewardship. Modern is self actualization and personal freedom. That's modern autonomy. And decision making. What does the owner want me to do? So what does God want me to do in this life? Rather than modern autonomy, what do I want to do? And we see that, a lot of people say, follow your own heart. I understand where you're coming from with that, but you don't really want to follow your own heart because God says the heart is wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why not try to follow what God's will is for you? And how do you know what God's will is? It's in here. Don't go off of emotions, because emotions can definitely lead you down to a path of destruction.
Yeah, they can. I actually am working with a guy. So I had posted on Facebook earlier this week about my nightly routine and having a conversation with God about, or praying before I went to bed, and basically like giving everything to God and just asking for help with like anger and stuff like that. And the next morning I woke up and I had a message from a really good friend of mine about just praying. He asked me, does praying every night seem to help you with like your anger and your anxiety and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I can't really answer that it helps me, but I can definitely tell a difference when I don't do it. Like that night, I'll toss and turn. I'll wake up in the middle of the night. I'll wake up the next day and just not feel 100%. I'm like, so I guess I can say yes that I notice a difference when I pray, because I can certainly tell when I forget to pray or I don't do it that night. And he's like, oh, okay. And he kind of like went into him and I ended up talking for like a good 40 minutes about like praying and stuff. And he's like, when I feel good, I don't pray. And then it seems like everything falls apart. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, that's because you're feeling good. So you're in your mind, you don't need God's help anymore. I'm like, but that's really when everything starts going, seems like it's going good. That's really when you need to start praying hard, because that's normally when the devil's going to throw things your way and it's not going to be good. And so he was like, oh, so him and I, I've been checking in on him quite a bit this week and stuff just to see how he's holding up. So, yeah.
The power of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's easier said than done. And sometimes.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Carl?
No, I completely agree. There's certainly instances in my life where I'll be praying and things seem to be going smooth. You know, there's some hiccups here and there, like trials. And then the moments where it's really good and I forget to pray, that's when I find myself not doing so great.
Yeah. And your headspace just doesn't seem right, and life just doesn't seem like it is when you're praying and stuff.
Like for my case, for example, I'm leaving my current job. This is actually my last week before I start my 2 weeks paid vacation. Since I still had this on my contract, I decided to use it just to kind of give myself time to prepare for my next position that starts April 1st. Before all that, yeah, I was praying a lot about a lot of things that at my current job, because I would get frustrated, like very frustrated, because the work that I have to provide for the school. I They know that my background, that I'm very with video editing, videography, all that, graphic art. They know all that. They know that I can provide more value to what they're doing. But I was never being asked on deferring to the guy that's been there for a couple years, even though he's completely overworked. And then so I kind of felt like I was in a position where I'm like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? And so I kept kind of praying about it. I'm like, God, okay, just give me a little bit more. You know, I pray for the wisdom. I pray to just rest in you, not to overthink things and not to make rash decisions off of emotions. You know, kind of just allow me to keep staying this. Huh?
Nothing?
Nope.
Oh, sorry. I thought I heard something come through. And so months went on by, and then let me just give you an example. Like the guy that works there, very chill guy. I mean, he's a nice guy, but then my personality doesn't match with his. He's a person that for some reason, the moment he's into work, he just clicks, where he just doesn't talk to anybody. He just focuses on work. And to me, it just makes it a very uh, uncomfortable environment, because he's all about the kids. He's not really much about the staff. He doesn't try to
Okay.
get to know he doesn't try to get to know the staff, or kind of just have a little chit chat or anything like that, to where you want to build a rapport with your coworkers or anything. And he's very opinionated, because it's kind of like, if it's not his way, then something's wrong. Or if you have your own opinion about how you want to approach things, then he always has to say something that says like, oh, maybe you should do it this way. And so it was just one thing building up, and it just started to snowball, and then I'm just starting to like overall picture. The school is great, the owner's great, just it wasn't a fit for me. I thought it was, but it wasn't a fit for me. And so I was praying about it, and thankfully I was asked to start a position at a different place, and I accepted the offer. Um, Sadly, my kids, students, still don't know that I'm leaving because
Oh
there's a
boy.
big project. Yeah, there's a big project at the end of this week that they've been working on, and I told the owner and the other staff, I said, do not say anything because I don't want them to lose focus. I don't want them to start asking questions. I don't want it to spread to the parents. I don't want things like that to happen, and then all kinds of rumors start to fly. Right now, just allow them to work on things that they've been working hard on, and then I will tell them after the presentation where I'm going. And it's tough, it's rough because I've built a relationship with all the kids. And just yesterday, we were at a basketball game, and one of the my students was there. That his mom was saying like he only comes to school because he knows you're there. Because
Oh
he
man.
and so I'm like,
You're like, gonna be back at school again.
Yeah.
yeah, like she was, yeah, telling the mom was telling Ayano, she's like, yeah, he talks about Kevin all the time when he's at home, and like before he didn't like coming to school, but then now since Kevin likes the NBA, he finds that he can talk to Kevin about the NBA, and his English is getting better and everything. So thank you so much. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be rough.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I already created a letter and the stuff to the parents and to the students telling them my decision why I'm leaving, but in no way, form, shape, or form I'm trying to make the school look bad
Yeah.
at all, because the school is still great, just not fit for me. Like I
Yeah.
thought it was, but not fit for me. And yeah. And so I think I prayed and I thank God, and I'm praying that this is the decision that God has for me. I'm just hoping that I didn't just kind of, jump the gun.
I don't
But
think you
hmm,
I don't think you did.
yeah, yeah, well, yeah. So I trust God because He's been there from the very beginning. So whatever happens,
Hmm.
you know, I thank Him for the opportunity. It was definitely a learning experience, and I did get to meet and talk to people. And then at the same time, I was able to sprinkle a little bit of Jesus in my time there.
How'd you go
You
about doing that? Because I know you said at first it was their concern that you were a Christian.
So when I first, there's a teacher there. He's a great guy. He shows up only twice a week, because he has his own business, but he's more of a team builder type guy. He's a former professional rugby player, but he's like in his mid 50s. Um, he's Buddhist, but the cool thing about it is that he doesn't know much about Christianity, but he finds it fascinating. And
Okay.
I remember we were on a business trip and we were talking, and he was like, I think you should tell the kids about Jesus. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, they need to know who Kevin is, and they need to know who you believe in. I think it's great that you should do that. He's like, and I said, I wasn't too sure if I was allowed to do that. He's like, do it. It's important that you do it. They need to know who their teacher is. I'm like, okay. So when Christmas came, there was Christmas performance and everything, and then we had a conversation. I said, "Do you guys know where Christmas came from?" And then I shared about Jesus, and I shared about just a little bit, not too in depth, but I had that conversation. And then there's a manga book actually that's there talking about the life of Christ.
Really?
No, yeah, I'm not too sure how accurate it is, but they're talking about about the life of Christ. And one of my students, he was reading about it, and so now they all know that Christmas is about Jesus' birth. Now, he did think that I did make it clear that Jesus' birthday is not on December 25th.
Okay.
I said, because they know my birthday and they're like, "Oh, Jesus." I was like, "No."
You're like,
You
nope.
guys don't know that. Uh, and to make it clear, all was not born on December 25th. And then the guy was like, "Conception." I said, "No one knows when Jesus was born." I was like, "We have an idea, but we don't know the exact date."
Mhm.
And
Gotcha.
so I said, well, all we know is that Jesus came over 2,000 years ago. And he's like, "Oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I always thought he was born on Christmas, on the December 25th." I'm like, "No, that was just a day that we chose to celebrate his arrival."
Yep.
So he's like, "Okay." So God allowing me to do that was to me big. And then now I feel like, okay, God has decided to move me on to somewhere else. So I was able to
Yep.
plant the seed, and now I'm moving on. I'm not sure if the seed is going to continue, but I made sure that people know that I follow who I choose to follow in my life, and who is the author and the director in my life. So now they all know that I'm Christian. I take it extremely serious, and it's important to me, and that's who I am. That's my identity. And so now, moving on to this new job, and I'm praying that God allows me the opportunity to do the same here.
That's great, man. I love
Yeah.
hearing that story.
But that's where I got the whole biblical stewardship and modern autonomy, because I am a steward to God, and
Yeah.
I'm a representative of him where I go. It's not only in church, it's wherever you go, you bring Christ with you.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. So, but what are you guys' thoughts like about the whole stewardship and autonomy? Like more so about like what I was saying about the manager, uh, you know, being your own owner. The success of it is hearing, "Well done, good and faithful servant." That is what we all want to hear.
Yeah.
Um, rather than achieving independence and personal happiness.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember exactly what I was listening to a pastor, and he was talking about something similar to how some businesses use that outline. But in different forms. Ultimately, it does come from like Christianity, how they try to do it. However, they tweak it enough so it's more tailored towards their own interests or anything, because a lot of the things about um, taking accountability, um, and then going from there was kind of just
Mhm.
twisted it far beyond than what God wanted. I wish I remembered exactly the wording that he used, but like he was tying things together on um, how God's plan is, and then how man kind of twist it into their own way.
Yeah, we screwed it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can definitely like speaking from my own experiences, I definitely have lived like that where I'm living to do what I want to do, not what God wants me to do. Um, and
Hmm.
that wasn't the best time of my life, that's for sure. I mean, I've got fond memories, I've got funny memories, I've got really crazy memories, but it's a part of my life that is in my past because it's who made it's what made me who I am today.
Yeah.
And I definitely prefer living for Christ and living for God. And living how he wants me to live and not live for my own intentions or live of the earthly desires and stuff like that. And so speaking from like my own perspective, that's kind of how I'm feeling is I definitely prefer being a manager of what God created and living for him and being able to ultimately get that repeated sentence that we all want.
Yeah.
So
I haven't had as many opportunities to talk about Christ or with my coworkers or anybody around me. But recently, probably a week ago, I finally got the opportunity. And so I had a small conversation while I was sitting at work. And it was kind of unusual how it came up, but it was a very, I'm hoping, productive conversation. It seemed like she was almost there but wasn't quite. There are some things that kind of concerned me on how she was speaking, but she said she believed in God, believed in Jesus, and then um, what kind of struck me is how it was about a topic that about Israel came up, and I was like, God promised Israel to the Jews. I was like, yeah, they're out, and then they're brought back in, but it was promised to them. And like I think that was kind of a sticking point with her because she thought that they shouldn't have been there, that they took the land or whatever. Because the whole war situation came up as well. She
Mm-hmm.
was more stressed about the Iran war and how America and Israel were attacking Iran, and so I kind of dug deeper from there, and then I kind of did my best to without a Bible because I'm sitting at work at the front desk. I don't have that resource, but I did my best to try to talk to her about it without getting, you know what how it is when you're at work and
Mm-hmm.
how some employers are. And so I tried to keep it very basic as I could.
yeah, tread lightly, not to cross any like work boundaries and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think that's the
Yeah, I think
hardest about doing this at work.
Yeah,
So
I think I think I think a lot of us we're kind of too hard on ourselves sometimes because yeah, when we do have those conversations, sometimes we leave it with I coulda, woulda, shoulda, oh I should have said this or anything like that. But I think God provides the opportunities for us at the right time to do what we can by allowing the Holy Spirit to guide us in our words and our steps. Yeah, we would love to go in depth and to go deeper into our conversation, but I think God provides, given to the situation, He gives us just enough what we need to plant that seed, and then
yeah,
pray that another opportunity comes up so we can continue that conversation. But the fact that we do obey God in that instance instead of just shying away and being afraid is a big step in showing that we, in our hearts, believe what we believe.
yeah, yeah, because I would have loved to bring this out because it was in my bag, and I'm like, but I know I can't. So
yeah.
Yeah. I've had situations where I think it was like really quick, and I leave, and I'm like, man, I should have said this, or did I say enough, or did I share what I should have said, or what I said was it the right thing? Uh, should I have been a little bit more on the offensive, or I don't know, but
For me, it's always been because Kevin, you and I have had this conversation that like I've read the Bible, like I know the Bible, but it's not something I can just pull up and just like kind of use. And for me, like I always took the interactions when I was talking about God with somebody as like I would leave that conversation and be like, man, I didn't do that conversation any justice. I didn't know what to say.
mm-mm,
And now that I'm actually having more interactions like that, I I'm finding that not only am I able to talk to the person, but I leave the conversation with like, hey God, like we're getting there, man. Like I'm taking them as kind of like training points, I guess you would say. Like okay, I just passed another training class. All right, here we go. Like, let's keep going, God. Throw another one at me. Like, that's how I take them right now, because I'm like, man, I'm growing. And that conversation with my friend about like everything he's going through, like it was all God that was speaking to him. And when I got done talking, I was like, all right, God, we're making some valid changes here. This is amazing. Like, I was really like happy with the conversation, not like just beating myself up afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what Satan wants, is us to feel guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And when we should just be thankful that God provided us that opportunity and we can grow from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of like, so the kind of going back to where we realize that none of this is our doing, it's all God, it's who Christ that lives in us. So last night, so we have a local professional basketball team here, and we go to the games all the time because they now made the locals who live in the local area, all the games are free, which is amazing. But there, we built a relationship with one of the players on the players, because funny thing is that he's from California, um, and we went to a game, and then so we saw there was this woman that had a lot of hair, like a lot of hair. So she was sitting completely across from on the opposite side of the stadium, and then so I was talking to Ayana. I was like, "Yeah, you see that lady? That's a lot of hair." And so, but then it was the wife of the player that we are friends with, and then we ended up building, kind of just meeting because Noah wanted his autograph and everything, and then so after the game he signed it and taken a picture with Noah and Kai and everything, and then we ended up building a relationship with them, and uh, so he ended up playing for the entire season. Then he ended up not having his contract renewed, and then so he ended up going to another place in Japan, signing with another team, and so he was there for a while. But we stayed in relationship contact with him, just saying, my boys miss seeing you and everything. We're still into the games, but it's just not the same. My boys still seeing you, and then he kept posting saying, like, it's by the grace of God that I'm able to play this game and do the things that I love. And I jokingly messed around and I was like, man, you've been gone for a while. It'd be great if you ended up coming back to this team. And he's like, yeah, talk with my agent and everything. And then just this week, he messaged me and he's like, yo, Kev, I got re-signed back to the team. We'll be there in a couple days. I'm like, what? And so we ended up seeing him last night, and we started talking about how God's timing is perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and that all things is because of him. And he was saying that it's very interesting because if you're a foreign player, your visa only lasts for so long. And so for him, his visa expired March 17th. And so if he didn't sign it with another team, then he couldn't renew, and he had to leave the country, he and his wife. And so he said he got a call from his agent and was like, "Hey, that former team you were on, they sent an offer and they were wanting to know if you would be interested." And then he was like, "Man, I've been praying, for an opportunity because I want to keep playing ball." And so the team passed him the contract, and then he was like, "Let's sign, let's do it." He approved of the offer and everything, and so now he got his visa extended for another year. And he was telling me, he was like, if this wasn't God, I don't know what it was. He was like, it came down to the wire, and my visa expired on the 17th this month. But then I signed this new contract, and then God blessed me to continue playing basketball for this year. I don't know however long after that, but everything that I've been through is not my doing at all. He was like, this is all God.
That's so
And
good,
it just,
dude.
yeah. And then it just reminded me, I'm like, yeah, like everything that goes on in our life, you know, if it's anything that's good and pleasing, it's all God.
Mhm.
And that we should never try to force anything and thinking that, oh, I got signed because of how good I am. No, he's humble enough to realize that God blessed him another opportunity in another year for what he's like, for whatever reason, God decided to extend me one more year. I'm not sure what's going to happen along the journey, but his timing is always perfect. It's not like us saying, God, we're down to the wire. No, his timing is perfect.
Yeah.
So just to seeing the humbleness and understanding that, he recognizes that it wasn't his doing, even though he enjoys basketball and he believes he is good. It's because of the Lord, the relationship with God, and allowing God to take control. This is a random question. What is cybersecurity?
So when it comes to cybersecurity, it's basically it's a bunch of things. So it has to do with internet. It could be basically they cover, hey, phishing emails, hacking, um, social engineering, which is basically I talk to you to figure out your password and I give you keywords to answer, and basically you tell me everything I want to know without you realizing it. Type thing. So when it comes to technology, they also do uh, permission, like they get permission to do tax on companies and stuff like that. So it's a whole realm of things that they're able to do to try to make it harder for you to get hacked or um, hit by these people who want your information.
Okay, understood. Sorry. Okay, let's
So
get back on topic.
yeah, no, so you're good. I was trying to keep it as simple as possible, dude. Because if I would have told
That
you,
was
you would have
amazing.
looked at me cross-eyed.
That was so good. Like that was such a random question. We're like, oh, we're doing this.
Yeah,
Squirrel.
no, because like I was literally just kind of thinking when you were talking about God's timing and about how I got my job in IT, and like that just came out of nowhere type thing. Yeah, how his question was. I was like, oh, okay, because I know when I was working, I was clicking on some random links, and I looked down, and I was like, oh, my job is laying off people, but they're hiring for an IT manager. Cool. Click apply. Right. I just kind of like shrugged it off. I'll just apply and all that stuff. And I sent a quick prayer to God. I was like, hey, if you want me to have this job, fine. If not, I just guess I'm going to be unemployed for the next, God, like how long you want me to be. Right. And so I just kind of shrugged it off, did a quick prayer, like had an interview, prayed about it like a quick prayer, and then heard nothing for a little while. And then next thing I know is the person who's interviewing is contacting my manager asking questions, because I found myself the more stressed about like wanting a position or whatever, the worse I do. And I'm like, I just kind of shrugged it off. I was like, hey, if you want me here, you want me here, you know? And because I really wanted to, like, I really wanted to get into IT because I went to school for it, but getting a job is like pulling teeth because they want you to have a bachelor's degree and experience for an entry level job. And it's like,
Yeah.
that makes no sense. So,
Mm.
so God blessed me with the job, and I'm like, cool.
Nice.
But yeah, that was completely random when I was like having that like trailed off thought.
Yeah, sorry. That was just kind of an ADD moment. So,
Yeah.
I think it was actually
you're
the twin telepathy. I think is what I interacted with right there.
I wish
Like,
it worked when I was trying to help him with his computer.
yeah, oh, there we go. We just did with nothing.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, sorry. It was just talking, and then all of a sudden, it was like, hey, say this.
Yeah, that was completely off the blue, especially from you, dude.
Yeah, it just like floated through my mind, and then I just was like, there's a It's like my filter was off. Instead of saying, let's hold off on that. No, the
Yeah.
filter was down. It was like, let's just continue.
Yeah.
Anyways, Russell, anything?
No?
Oh,
All right.
actually, can I ask you a
Oh,
question? I remember a message that you had sent me earlier, and it was about prayer. It was a
all right.
prayer that you posted. Please calm my anxious heart and mind. Remind me that I work for no man. Take my frustration and anger from the meaningless situations. Surround me with your presence and your angels. Let me feel
Yeah.
your calming. Was that work related?
Uh-huh.
May I ask, is it okay to
Oh yeah, we're good now.
elaborate what happened?
Honestly, yeah, so let's see if that's the situation. Yeah, so we had a situation happen at work, and there was numerous bad parts found during my kind of taking the reins of measuring parts, and I found out of 800 parts, 800 and something parts, I found 404 that were bad.
Ooh.
And I kind of spearheaded the whole thing of getting the new material ordered and let the right people know that this is what happened. And then it kind of got turned into I got pulled into a meeting like a week later because during the measuring report there was some bad parts in that report, and I didn't know that there was bad parts already in the report, and so I got pulled into a meeting about how I needed to do better at my job, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. And well, this report, and I'm like, I get that. Like, I came from aerospace, and so yeah, it kind of just sent me down a world of like, I'm not doing my best work, I'm not living up to my full potential, and then I just realized, you know what, God, like I just need you to remind me that I don't work for a man. I work for a God. And I'm not looking for validation from anybody on this earth. That for me, it was crazy, man. I think God has really just been trying to get me to admit that in the last couple of months. And it took that situation for me to realize that I don't work for a man. I don't work for any earthly acknowledgement. I don't care if somebody tells me I did a good job anymore. I don't. It's nice when it does happen. Don't get me wrong. We all we all love when somebody gives us that good old attaboy.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking for it. I'm not expecting it anymore. And I've noticed this complete shift in my mindset to where, like, I go to work, I do my job, I do my job to the best of my abilities. And in that time, if I have a good time, I have a good day, like I'm just praying to God the whole time. I listen to worship music all day long with my headphones. I talk with my coworkers because we all get along, but I'm not expecting praise from anybody I work with. I'm not expecting praise from people I interact with anymore. And like I said, I really think that God was just trying to get me to realize that. And it took one situation for me to be like I was super upset. I was mad at the situation. And then I realized, like, okay, God, like, I just need to remember that I don't work for these guys. I work for you. And it was just a shift, and it's just gotten better and better and better and better. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I kind of had an idea that it was work related because I think I responded and I said I believe and know that feeling,
Yep.
and yeah, so I get where you're coming from, and I had the same mind shift too. So I'm glad that God allowed that to happen for you to see what's most important.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, I've recognized many situations in my life where God put someone in my life and it tests me, type thing. A lot of times, like I used to have a very bad anger problem when I went to work. Like I would wish someone would cross me, and then I was good with my words to where I could say enough not to get in trouble, but get underneath people's skin.
Yeah.
I'm glad God got me out of that because He kept on putting people in my life like that. And like occasionally, I still get people who get under my skin, but I find myself just kind of looking at it, get quiet, and like, yeah, okay, type thing, and I just
Mm-mm.
move on. I was like, this is the guy's personality, or this is the girl's personality. Just kind of waved off, and I'm like, that's good. I'm not going there, type situation, and I just try to avoid getting into the trap that I know I could easily go into.
Yeah. Two things. What you said, that's kind of the situation I was kind of in, where the personality would get under my skin and everything. And then the other thing that you said, wish. I remember there was a comedian that said black people have this wish problem. I wish somebody would be sitting in my seat. I wish somebody would be doing this just so I can negatively react and fight somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
Said- Black people have that
Oh,
I wish factor, that I wish gene. I wish somebody would say something to me today. Oh, I wish somebody be sitting in my seat. So
is it bad? Is it bad that you said the wish and then I wish, and all I pictured was like a black mom telling their child, "I wish you would say that again." Like that's where my mind went. I'm like,
it's true. It's true.
I'm
It's
sure Carl's mind was there or something because I hit pretty hard, dude.
it's true. It's
That's
true.
like
That's
wish you. I wish you would say that again. Like, sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's not bad because it's facts in a weird, strange way. It's kind of like facts.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
no, I used to overthink things, and that was the problem too. Was that I would fall into that trap where, like you said, Russell, where you aim to try to to climb the ladder because you want to do a good job, and so you're like seeking that praise, and then you get angry when you feel like somebody else goes above, and you're sitting there thinking like, why they advance, and then here I am doing all of this, but then yet they get the praise, and I feel like they're not doing enough, and I'm doing more. And I used to kind of fall into that trap, and I hated that. And then like, yeah, I'm kind of recently, I wouldn't say recent, past few years, I've been in that mindset where now I'm like, yeah, I'm not here to please man. And I
Yeah.
pray, and when I start my morning, in prayer, what I say is that I pray for the Holy Spirit to guide my words, guide my steps, and guide my attitude. Uh, and if I feel like I'm about to go down that road, I pray for the Holy Spirit to provide me the wisdom that I can turn away from it and not fall into emotions, and to remind me that I'm not here for the owner of the school. I'm not here for the staff members. I'm not here for that reason. I'm here to glorify and honor you and do the best that I can for the job that you've blessed me with. I'm here to work for you and be that representative. And if I have that mindset, then I know I'll be all right. And if others don't see that, I know you'll take care of me, no, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And because why we have this problem, like whenever if we're losing a job or we're in a situation, I have, from my knowledge, I've never pointed the finger at God when something bad happens. I have asked him why, but I've never said this is your fault. or anything like that. But we need to understand that God has been there from the very beginning. And the life that we have every day that we wake up is a blessing, meaning that God is not done with us.
Yeah.
He hasn't called us home yet, meaning that we should be thankful regardless of the situation and praise him always. Yes, it's going to be stressful and we're going to be like, oh, this isn't fun. You know, you're taking me through the ringer, God, but I know that if I keep my faith and my eyes on you, I will come out this stronger. My faith in you will be stronger, and my walk with you will be stronger. And I understand your character a whole lot more and the abilities that you've blessed me with. Yeah. So yeah, I remember church, Russell. I think you've been to the Japanese church that I went to in Seattle like once or twice or something.
I think one.
Unless your mom. I remember when I would sometimes do a little kid sermon, and God allowed me to do this. There was a illustration I kind of did where if you write with your write lemon, use lemon water or lemon juice on paper, and then you put a flame through it, it will burn the message into it. And I remember that this was kind of an illustration for the kids, that I had taken a piece of paper and I had taken lemon juice and I wrote on the paper Jesus. And I said, "Do you guys see this?" And then they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Do you see anything on it?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "You don't see anything?" They're like, "No." And then I had taken a lighter and I barely underneath it, then it started writing the words Jesus into it. But then while I was doing it, I was saying that this piece of paper is representing us. And this is the flame is the hardships that we go through, but we have to trust in God through this process. So the paper and the flame is the trouble when we're sitting there saying, "Lord, I need help. You know, I'm struggling. This isn't fun. What are you trying to do? Why am I going through this?" But then God is sitting there saying, just trust me, no problem. Don't worry, because the end goal, you're going to see why or who I'm lifting up inside you. And then at the end of the message, I said, "What do you see now?" And then, oh, it says Jesus. I was like, yes. So Jesus has always been there, but God allows things to happen in our life for a reason, to reveal Christ in us and that he has never left us. It may not seem fun. We may be getting burned, but God is saying, just keep your faith in me regardless. Trust me, because you will come out this much stronger because my son has always been inside you. You just have to trust me. And so whenever I hear what you guys are saying, it just reminds me that, yeah, that's what God's doing.
Well,
Yeah.
also, I learned a very painful lesson. When you ask God to help you get out of a situation, sometimes it's very painful when he rips you out type situation, because you remember the whole losing the job, bankruptcy, and all that stuff. I remember asking God before all that, I need your help to get out of the situation I'm finding myself in. It was more or less that is the whole anger and personality issue that I started to notice developing in me. I was like, hey, I need your help, blah, blah, blah. And like I kind of pinpointed part of what was going on, and it was the job that I was working for the state that was kind of causing a lot of stress and anger to build up. I got ripped out of that job so fast, and it was painful. Um, just kind of,
Like a bear.
it was like,
Mm.
yeah, it was like like a duct tape being ripped off, right? So everything went well. Everything started going wrong. Like I was at work, and I'm like, my back is killing me, right? I was like, my back has always been a problem, but like it hurt like worse, and it kept on getting like progressively worse to the point where I wasn't going to work anymore. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then when I was ready to go back, again, we don't have a position for you. And I'm like, cool, cool. And then from that, I think I was a year and a half. I had no job, and the whole time I was praying, and it was a process of getting me to do certain things. Yeah. get me where I am today, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very painful process of self-reflection. It was part of the other pain. I think that was the worst pain than just the physical.
Yeah. It's who is it? What's his name? Yeah, no, what's his name in the Bible? I can't remember. I just went blank.
I talk about Job.
Where he was sold. No, he was sold into slavery by his brothers.
Joseph. I think it was Joseph.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I was just watching the freaky twin thing go on, dude. I was waiting for Carl just to like, oh, you're talking about blah 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 blah. Like I was roll, dude. I'm like, snap, and here it comes.
Yeah, wait, Joshua?
Joseph.
It was Joseph.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, sorry.
Joshua. No, that's wrong.
I mean, you guys. I'm sure you guys are familiar about what he was being accused of that he didn't do, but he spent years in prison.
Yep. And
kept his faith in God, and then yet he became the second most powerful person in Egypt at that time. So, yeah, like you were saying, Carl, that God removes us or puts us through situations where it's not fun, but as long as we place our faith in Him,
yeah,
the outcome will always be good.
His story was interesting. God shows him, hey, this is what you're going to be doing, and he's like, cool. He tells his family. His family's like, oh, heck no. They throw him in the hole, sell him off, and whatnot. And God told him exactly what he was going to do. He just didn't tell him how he was going to get there.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, those stories, honestly, they can go the other way too. Like, I can speak from my personal story, about how, like, Kevin, you had said you've never recall pointing the finger at God and saying this is your fault. And the first thing that came to my mind was I have. And I was a week away from killing myself, and I wrote a suicide letter, and I told God, like, this is your fault. Like, you let this happen to me. I had no control over this. And I just put all the blame on God, and kind of, the same situation of how God can pull us into a situation or put us in a situation where it's like making it hard for us to help us see that God's there. I was in that situation, and God yanked me out of that horrible situation because I gave him the ultimatum of, if you don't want me to kill myself, you better make something change, because this is ultimately your fault, not mine. And God ripped me out of a bad situation and put me in a church the day that I was supposed to kill myself. And basically, the reference I use a lot of the time when I'm telling people that is God. I don't know if you guys have ever seen NCIS, but the head guy always hits one of his guys in the back of the head, like, boop.
Yep.
And my dad and I always called it Denozo, because that was the guy's name that always gets hit in the head. And so I always tell people, I'm like, yeah, God put me in church and then smacked me upside the head and gave me a Denozo and said, look, you idiot, look where you're at. And so not only can God put us in situations, he can drastically change those situations that he put us in when we realize, like, hey, I can't do this on my own anymore. Like, I need your help.
Yeah.
So you're being attacked right now?
Does she want to join in?
I'm 2.5 hours late for her dinner.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why she's like, yeah. Where's my food?
I wish you would get off of this.
This is the subtle escalation that she does because she's been kind of hitting me on my foot. The reason why I kept on looking down or laid her head on me. But yeah, this is her subtle escalation to let me know she's hungry.
It's like, I need food. Dad.
I wish he was on there for 2 more minutes. Ooh.
Well, the other one's like, yeah, this is normal. I'm just gonna sleep.
That's so funny.
Okay, well, I guess we can end this pretty soon, real quickly, since she's trying to attack.
No, she's good.
But
so funny.
I haven't even eaten breakfast yet, and it's 10:40.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, no, Ross, yeah, I there's plenty of examples of God completely taking drastic measures just to get someone to open up their eyes. Yeah, I mean, was it Jonah being swallowed by a fish, then regurgitated back on land?
So you just said that, because I literally was thinking about a shirt that I saw the other day that I was like, I need this shirt. And it's a whale with its mouth open, and Jonah's swimming into it. And underneath it says, "Get in, we're doing Jesus stuff." My brain went. I'm like, man, it reminds me of that T-shirt. And you're like, oh yeah, wasn't Jonah like swallowed by a whale? I'm like, that's so. We did the freaky twin thing, dude. I'm telling you. I'm in. Yes.
Well, that's clear. That's clear sign that God's really willing to put you in an uncomfortable situation to bring his point around.
Yeah,
I mean, swallowed by a whale. It's gonna be there for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bible, if you think about it, it's kind of like a little bit comedy, because God was like, "Go," and Jonah's like, "No." God's
No.
like, "Oh."
Okay then.
Gets thrown off a boat because he's
he's like, all right, so you think you can escape me? All right, well, let's just turn that knob up on the weather, and then, yeah, I can just see it, and then God's like, all right, just a little bit more, all right, so now the crew members are gonna blame him, all right, and yep, now they want to toss him over. And, all right, next thing. All right, this fish, swallow him.
You're gonna take it to shore, but it's gonna be a very, very short, slow ride there.
Not a short fish.
Yeah,
it's huge. And be inside the belly of it.
In 3 days, right?
I don't remember how long it was, but I know it was significant.
I think it was 3 days. Now, not to get too far off topic or make this extend any longer, but did you know that there is countless places in the Bible that are very Christ-like situations that happen to other individuals, such as one with Jonah. He was swallowed by the whale, or the big fish, for 3 days. And then he was finally taken out. And then he went and he preached to Nineveh the good news. But then if you look at what happened to Christ, he died and he was gone for 3 days. He came back to continue to share the good news. Like, there's a lot of similarities that are all pointing to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which is wild, because which to me is more proof and evidence that the Bible is authoritative and divine.
Well, if you think about it, like Jesus is written throughout the Old Testament. If you look, they don't use his name, but like things pointing towards him is always in there throughout the Old Testament. And when he finally does come, we do see that the majority of the Jewish people reject him and don't see it in the Bible. Or when like I like watching what is that, One for Israel? They'll start quoting the Bible and like, oh, that's from the New Testament, and I know that's from the Old Testament. And like that you're talking about Jesus, and he's like, yeah, we know, type situation. Because I love watching when they start talking to their own people about the Old Testament, and they could clearly see, hey, you're talking about Jesus, and they're like, yeah, we are, but that's in the Old Testament.
Like Melchizedek.
Yeah.
You guys know about him, right?
Melchizedek.
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 Shit. No. Melchize. Melchizedek. Described in Genesis and Hebrews as both the king of peace and righteousness, a priest forever, he is considered a pre-incarnate appearance of Jesus. Which is wild because there's not much about this guy, but he is very similar to Christ.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there were a lot of pre-incarnates of Jesus.
I think he was in Abraham's day. I believe that's when he was around.
Yeah, like there's not, it's crazy. There's not much about him.
Yeah.
But he was considered the high priest, and that's who Jesus is, the high priest.
Yeah.
Anyways, not to get off topic, but anyways, you guys, I'm probably gonna head out now. Iono and Noah are currently at my father's grave, paying their respects, and currently being a mini coach for the younger basketball team. So that's where he is at right now. So I'm home alone right now.
Okay.
And
sorry.
Nice. Oh my gosh.
Had to do
it. But hopefully we can get Buzz back on here. But I have to say though, praise God with our prayers for Buzz, because it seems like things are moving in the right direction for him and Carrie. It's like what we were talking about. It's not, God allows things to happen, and sometimes in situations it's not fun, but as long as we put our faith in him, the outcome will be good. So the things that Buzz is going pretty much surrendering to God, it's not going to be easy. He's scared, but he knows that it will help him in his marriage.
Yeah.
So and ultimately his faith in God is what he said. So let's just try to keep him in prayer, Carrie as well. Yeah, just keep them in prayer. And yeah, any